Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. The two factions of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, led by Senator Magnus Abe and Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi, have been in a supremacy battle over the Rivers gubernatorial ticket of the party. The Abe-led faction held an indirect primary that fielded the lawmaker as candidate, while the Amechi-led faction had conducted a direct primary that produced Tonia Cole as candidate. Although the national leadership of the party recognizes Tonia Cole as the party's candidate, both a High Court and Appeal Court has nullified the Congress that produced the APC River State Chairman, Okuje Flag Amakore's leadership, which is loyal to the Amechi faction. Joining us now to speak on the River State APC crisis, Senator Magnus Abe. Welcome to the morning show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's start off first. Can you explain the situation as it stands now? There have been several court judgments. There's a dispute on ground. It's all rather convoluted. Let's hear the tale in your words, sir.
Well, I think it's really quite simple and not as complicated as it would sound for those who are aware of what the facts are. To begin with, we need to look at the origin of the quote-unquote crisis that you're talking about. What happened was that when we held the party's congresses across the country, in Rivers State, the party gave the same opportunity to people across the country. Those who were interested in holding positions in the party were to pay money to the bank and then go to the party, collect forms with the tellers that you have paid to the bank, and then participate in the congresses. But in Rivers State, the Minister of Transportation decided that those he considered not loyal to him were no longer part of the party and will not be allowed to participate in the congresses. Now, there is no provision for that in the constitution of the party. And almost 16,000 party members went to the bank, bought their tellers, and they were denied forms. They were not allowed to participate in that Congress. So they went to court with their tellers to say this is what is happening to us. And the court made an order to the party to say, hold on, let us look into this complaint of exclusion that have been brought by this gentleman. The party went on national television, the state chapter loyal to the minister, went on national television to announce that they will not obey the court order. That was the beginning of the crisis. And so they went ahead and held that first Congress. Of course, the court, when the court saw that, the court went ahead and set aside those Congresses. Now, when it was time for us to, that issue was still lingering in the courts, you know, when we were to go into the Congresses, into the primaries. And at the National Executive Committee meeting of the party, the national chairman himself, being aware of these existing legal challenges in Rivers State, announced in NEC that Rivers State will be one of the states where the party will have to hold direct primaries because of the lingering legal issues arising out of the exclusion of people from the congresses that were held. Now, despite that announcement, the same ESCO that had been voided by the courts went ahead to submit a request to the party for indirect primaries on the instructions of the minister. And the ESCO, that the valid legal ESCO executive of the party, held his own state executive meeting and submitted the proper and only legal submission that could come out of Rivers State, which was the request for direct primaries. For some reason, despite the fact that the party had earlier held the position that Rivers State would have to be direct, at the last minute, the working committee came up with the position that it would be indirect because that was what the minister wanted. Now, those of us who are lawyers know that the first thing you learn in law school is a case we used to call UAC against McFoy. Say you cannot put something on nothing and, and expect it to stand. So we were quite worried that if we go ahead with that, given the legal position that this ESCO and that request and the entire process is standing on nothing, we could end up with a situation where Rivers State will be legally knocked out of the general elections because of that situation. So the state executive of the party decided to go ahead and conduct direct primaries in Rivers State so that the party would have a legal basis to participate in the general elections. And true to that prediction, that is, of course, what happened. As soon as they went ahead with the indirect primaries, the High Court, with whom they were contending, of course, set aside the entire exercise that produced Mr. Cole. And the Court of Appeal has, as at this moment, dismissed the appeal against the judgment of the High Court. So the situation is that the only legal primaries that was conducted in Rivers State within the ambit of the law was the direct primaries that was conducted by the state executive of the party. So that is the position. It is not as complicated as it sounds. It's really quite simple and straightforward.
All right, Senator Abe, contrary to what you're saying, some sources have it that the forced origo of all this crisis was the fact that the minister came to your house and pleaded with you not to run for the seat of the governor in Rivers State. And they even offered you a senatorial seat as an olive branch, but you turned it down and refused and went against all the pleas to still run for the governor.
You know that is not true. As at the time the minister came to my house, nobody was running for governor. And the issue of him offering me a senatorial seat did not even arise, and it was never discussed. What happened was that the minister did come to my house and in fact, ordered me not to even think about it, and said that if I try it, this and that will be the consequences. And I don't want to discuss that at this time because it is really no longer relevant. But let me put it on the public record that it is not true that the minister came to my house to plead with me. The minister is my friend. The day he came to my house, I was with him all through the day. We were in the office together. We went for lunch together. So coming to my house was not necessary if he was pleading with me. He came to my house because he said that he wanted to warn me and he wanted my wife to be aware that he is warning me that I should not try to run for governor. And I thought that was not right, neither was it necessary. So that's not, nobody came to plead with me and offer me senatorial seat. If that was the case, it's something that we could have negotiated or discussed, you know? But I insisted on my right to run. And I think that in a political party, even if the leader says you shouldn't run, and there's a mechanism for conducting that exercise, what we should do is to use that mechanism to conduct the exercise in such a way that at the end of the day, you are satisfied that you have participated. That's what democracy is about. But to say that you can, by fiat, exclude somebody from a process and the person must accept it, I don't think that is democratic in any sense. So that conversation, as far as I'm concerned, is not really relevant at this point where we are.
So, Senator Abe, did you explore and exhaust the internal party mechanisms? Because right now your party says such actions as which you have taken is an action of gross indiscipline to the party existence. And there are those who say, you are acting just as a spoiler for the APC and you are actually working with the PDP in Rivers State. What do you have to say to those people?
Well, let me say this. This whole issue is being propagated and sponsored by some gentleman called Chief Emeka Eze, who is not a Rivers man. He has no ward or unit in Rivers State. So he has no stake. He's not, as far as I know, a registered voter in Rivers State. He is being paid to spread those stories because the people need to discredit what we're doing because there's really no other explanation for what they have done. Now, if you say we are being sponsored by Wike, the people who bought forms as party members, were they sponsored by Wike? The people who decided to deny them their right as party members to participate in the congresses, were they sponsored by Wike? At the time the court made the order that, okay, hold on, gave an injunction to suspend the elections while that issue was being looked into, and people decided to disobey that order, were those people sponsored by Wike to disobey the order? Now, when they went ahead and the court voided that Congress, and the national chairman himself at a meeting of the National Executive Committee explained that because of the legal issues in Rivers State, we should have direct primaries to avoid legal complications in Rivers State. Was he sponsored by Wike? Now, when people decided, in spite of that, to go ahead and insist on indirect primaries in a state that these issues were on ground, was that person sponsored by Wike? So you have to look at the issues objectively when you're speaking. And for somebody to look at the sacrifice, the contribution, the participation of some of us in the All Progressives Congress and make those kind of assertions, to my mind, it is not just ridiculous, but it is childish. And reasonable people all across this country know that that is stupid. What will Wike sponsor me for? I said that I want to run for governor. Wike is the governor. Then he sponsors me so I can run against him or so I cannot run against him. The person who went to go and bring somebody who is not even a member of our party, he has no knowledge of the issues on ground politically in the state or in the party. And in the week of the primaries, you bring him and impose him on the party as a gubernatorial candidate. Is that person sponsored by Wike? You have to look at the actions people are taking and the likely consequences of the actions they are taking. And then you will know who is acting against the interest of the APC and those who are acting in the best interest of the party. Without what we are doing, where is the possibilities for the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State?
All right,
so that talk to me is totally irrelevant and should be ignored by right-thinking members of the society. Let us look at the issues and address the issues.
All right, Senator. We know that the leadership tussle of the APC in Rivers State is still in court right now. But we hear, despite this, all right, one of the candidates talking about Nwogu has been going around wards campaigning. And we hear that as at yesterday, he has covered about 250 wards. If the Supreme Court rules in your favor, what time do you have left to actually begin campaigns? Or have you even begun campaigns already?
First of all, I don't think Nwogu is campaigning. The truth of the matter is that he does not know anybody or any ward in Rivers State. So he's just going around. He has never been to these places. Nobody has ever seen him. So he's going around so he will get to know these places and people will get to see him. That's not how you campaign. You know, you have to have a deep knowledge of the challenges that are currently facing the state. You have to have the experience of the possible solutions that will work. You have to have the knowledge of the things that have been tried that didn't work, and then the modifications that can be made to what is possible to be able to provide solutions that can bring Rivers State out of its present situation to face to overcome its present challenges and be able to provide a life for Rivers people that is meaningful. That's what a campaign will amount to. For somebody who is not known to party members, is not known to, he doesn't even know the words, who just found himself in the situation in which he found himself, decides to go around to introduce himself to people and then also get people to see him and actually try and visit some of the communities in the state. I don't think anybody in Rivers State...
Are you saying, Senator, are you saying that, are you shoving all this aside and saying that you are the one that has the answer to what is bedeviling Rivers State at the moment?
I am in a very good position to provide workable solutions to some of the challenges that are facing our state. I have the experience. I have served the state as a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly. I was the minority leader. I've served the state as a commissioner, as a member of the State Executive Council as a member of the State Executive Council. I was Commissioner for Information for 4 years. I've served the state as Secretary to Government, and I've served the country as a 2-time senator on the platform of this party. And let it be on record that people should remember that I left the PDP when PDP was in power. There was nothing I was not offered in the PDP to stay there. But I left because I believed in the change that our party promised the people of this country. So I came to the All Progressives Congress to fight for change in Nigeria and to fight for change in Rivers State. I didn't think that change would be easy. I knew there would be obstacles and challenges. And I'm not one of those people to run away from obstacles and challenges. So when the obstacles came up, even within our party, where we had said we will embrace change and we will do things differently, and people simply would not countenance what doing things differently would entail. I and others, not just me, insisted that we should do things differently because that is what we had promised Rivers people, and that is what we have promised Nigerians, and that is what we are fighting to deliver. So it's not that I don't have any problem with the All Progressives Congress. I'm a loyal member of the party. But when we are doing things that will not help the party, it is a responsibility of party members and leaders such as myself to offer alternatives and fight for those alternatives. That's how change comes in every organization. It's not just by mounting change, but by working for change. So what we are doing here is actually working for the All Progressives Congress. That's what we're doing.
Senator, why do you insist on working for the APC? Because you're well aware that in electoral cases, to the victor go the spoils. You had a front row seat when Rotimi Amechi came from exile with your support straight into the governor's office. Are you not concerned at all that all your efforts that you are making could end up being to the benefit of a relative neophyte, Tonya Cole, as you've described him in this interview, because the courts will only acknowledge the party. If APC does manage to beat the incumbent of PDP, the winner will be APC, whoever it is that APC's candidate is adjudged to be. That might be Tonya Cole. Why is it that you have not decamped to increase your chances? And also, do you not feel that this infighting weakens the APC and guarantees a victory for Governor Wike of PDP?
No, there's some kind of struggle that actually strengthens a group. I don't think it weakens the party. I think that, first of all, the issue of whoever emerges as the candidate of the party, I totally subscribe to that. But what is the process by which the candidate will emerge? That's the issue. So when you use a process that cannot produce a candidate that is acceptable to the law, and then we as, the APC is made up of human beings. People put their lives on the line to create the thing you call APC in Rivers State. And those people are alive, they are there in the state. So if they fight for what they believe in, I don't think that weakens the party. I think at the end of the day, the APC will come out stronger if we are able to do the right thing. People will have more confidence in the ability of the party to deliver on its core commitment to Rivers people, because they are also watching what we're doing. So if we overcome these struggles internally, I believe that the party will actually be stronger. And at the core of the challenges facing Rivers State is that people actually want alternatives that they know will work. They don't want alternatives that they know will not work. So we must be able to convince them from within the party that the alternatives that we're offering Rivers people is one that will actually work and bring something different from what they're used to seeing at the moment. So I believe that at the end of the day, the party will emerge stronger. And the thing you must also understand is that the legal foundation on which the coal candidacy is based, both moral and legal, is very faulty. And if we keep quiet, if leaders of the party like us in the state keep quiet and allow the party to proceed in a manner that at the end of the day may leave the party totally shortchanged in every aspect, then we are not working for the party. So people must be able to speak up and be able to stand for what will help the APC in Rivers State. People have put in too much. People have suffered so much in the state for us to leave them with no options. So I believe that at the end of the day, the party will emerge stronger. And nobody should take all these issues personal, whether it is myself or it is Toye Cole or whoever. At the end of the day, if we get to a point where we see clearly that this is where we stand, all of us must be able to come together, put aside our pride and our differences, and help the APC to survive in a manner that helps party members in Rivers State. That's important to all of us.
But despite this, you have warned the party, the APC, not to field any other candidate except yourself. And some will wonder if this is not putting personal interest above party supremacy.
No, I didn't want the party not to field any candidates above except myself. That's totally untrue. From the beginning, what we had said was that let us conduct a primary that is transparent, free, fair, and acceptable to all candidates, to all aspirants, so that when we finish that process, all of us can come together and support whoever emerges. That's what we had always said. Even when the minister came to my house and he mentioned Toye Cole, I advised him even then. I said, bring Toye Cole. Let all of us go around, present ourselves to the people. At the end of the day, you are the leader. Sit back. When it is time, you support whoever you want to support. Chances are that whoever you support will emerge. And when the person emerges after all of us had had an opportunity to present ourselves, then it's easy for you as a leader to call everybody together and we all work together to put in the person that has emerged. But you can't keep him out all the while we're struggling, saying we're building the party, we're suffering and all that. And then when people have finished, you import him and place him on top of everybody. So where is the justice in that? Where is the fairness in that? How will party members even know him? Rivers State is a place where election, as you know from our history, is not a walk in the park. People need to believe in what they are doing before they can come out to actually do it. So if you bring a total stranger and you say that on the basis of personal loyalty to yourself, people will go out and commit their lives for... That's not a practical approach to politics in the 21st century. And I advised against it, and I believed that it would not work. So I didn't follow it. So it is not about me. It is about the party. If it was about me, the thing would have fizzled out by now. So you need to understand that there is no time I have said that the party should only field me. I've never said that, and I will never say that. I'm a loyal party man, but at the same time, the party belongs to all of us. And we cannot stand by and allow the party to crash.
All right, Senator. A lot of people are saying that you're only playing the victim card right now that is convenient. That's throughout the process, you've actually acted with so much impunity at several points. All right. Instituting the primaries that actually went down, that you actually set up the board, set up those that actually counted and declared yourself the winner. Just you alone being the sole head of that particular primaries. And they said that right now that things are not working your way, you have decided to turn back and not claiming the victim card. Now, when you had the chance, you actually acted with so much impunity.
No, that's not correct. Like I said to you from the beginning, we had a state executive committee that was in place in the state, which all of us were part of and we all subscribed to. Now, when we needed to conduct the congresses and the minister came and said, okay, all those who are not loyal to him should leave, people went to court and that process was voided. So the old executive that was still in place was there. Now, when they saw what was going on, they were the ones who conducted the exercise. It was not conducted by me. It was conducted by members of the APC. I didn't pick those people. I subscribed to them just as we all did. Peter Odike was the deputy chairman to the former chairman who left to go and run for election. It was that executive that conducted the primaries. It was not me. And over 150,000 members of the APC participated in that exercise. And if you want to see them tomorrow, they are all alive. They are there in Rivers State. If you call a meeting, they will all show up. So it has nothing to do with me as a person. All these people are people, I didn't call them, I didn't appoint them, you know? But everybody who is reasonable in the party saw that we were heading for a precipice. And people decided to act to try to save the party. And I submitted myself to that process. That is one. Two, to claim that I'm acting with impunity and all that, these are all things people are saying because it is convenient for them to say so. Now, if it is that I was acting with impunity, why did Dumo Lulubrix leave the party? He was the leading contender on the other side. He left. If the process was free, fair, and credible, how come the people who were part of the process when it started didn't accept it? And when you are conducting an indirect primary in a situation where you are in court and the court has already made orders against what you are about to do, does it take a seer to foresee that that thing would have problems in the future as we move forward? And if party members who see that decide to act in the interest of the party to save the party from a problem, how come it's now ascribed to one person? People bought forms, they went through the party processes, they were screened by the national, and they emerged from a process that was organized within the party.
Do you have a strategy, sir, for de-escalating the violence that unfortunately tends to accompany electoral campaigns? There was a shootout directed at Tonya Cole at Degama, and your campaign office was affected by vandalism. What is your view about this? And is this violence APC faction versus APC faction, or are there other actors involved?
You know, when we talk about violence in Rivers State, we fail to address the core issues that are responsible for the escalating violence in Rivers State. The violence in Rivers State is not just during it's not just political. It has almost become a way of life in the state. Just 2 days ago, the brother of the president of the Movement for the Survival of Ogoni People, Mosop, was attacked on his way from church, just walking with 3 other people, and stabbed to death. As we speak now, he's dead. The other day in Edoha, a woman coming from the church, just about a week ago or so, was coming from the church. A car just stopped. People jumped out of the car, knocked out, carried the child, and took off with the child. As we speak, just a week or 2 ago, the bishop of the Anglican diocese in Ekpe was kidnapped. He was in the bush for 4 days, and people were saying, okay, he's a man of God. Let God release him and let us see. And you will not believe it. The kidnappers fell asleep, and the bishop walked away, walked for several kilometers before he found a woman who was able to cut the knot from his hand in the farm and lead him to safety. Every day in Rivers State, people are getting killed, people are being attacked. There's so much violence. It's becoming almost a culture in the state. And a lot of us felt that as leaders, we must be able to present a different narrative, a different way of dealing with issues and looking at issues that would help to bring down the escalating violence in the state. And these things are things that are doable and achievable. So I do not see violence in elections in Rivers State as isolated from the culture of violence that is currently plaguing the state. So we need to reestablish security. We need to support the security agencies and map out alternative strategies that will be able to not only to challenge this situation, but to overcome it. We need to address the whole issue of youth restiveness, where unless you make trouble, you don't get something to eat. These are all the things that are contributing to the violence in Rivers State. So these things can be handled, but time is running out, and we need to do things and do them quickly so that the results can come in time to save the lives that are under threat. The situation in Rivers State, to be very honest with you, is quite worrisome.
Senator, you are reported as saying that God asked you to run for the governorship race in Rivers State. Can you tell us, did God tell you if you will win this election? Do you want to share some of that revelations with us?
Well, you know, as a human being, I am a man of faith. And I believe that one of the things you learn about living a life of meaning is that you must have faith in something bigger than yourself. I'm a son of a pastor, and I was brought up to know that God is real. And I've seen it several times in my life. Now, people see so many pastors around. People think pastors are fake, this and that and that. But you, as a human being and a man of faith, you should be able to look at the issues around you and take decisions based on what you know about yourself and your God. First of all, when we joined the APC, the current Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, my friend, invited me to Lagos for us to discuss the way forward. And he tried to tell me that we're going to have issues, we'll have to leave the PDP, we'll go to APC, we'll have issues with the presidency, and he wanted my buy-in. I wanted me to come along and, you know, lead the party in the state because he would be busy at the national. And I told him at that point that, sir, don't worry about me. I have already made up my mind, and my God has told me that that is the way I should go. So I will be in the APC. I will support you. You don't need to look behind you. It doesn't matter what happens. I will follow it through to the end. And when he wanted to explain to me the reasons why we're going to have this conference, I said, no, don't bother. Go and explain it to yourself. Because everybody must take a decision based on what you hear from your own God. So if you are doing this because of Nigeria, your God will know, even if you tell me something different. If you're doing this because you want to be vice president, your God will know, even if you tell me something different. So don't tell me your reasons. Talk to your God, because I have spoken to mine, and I will do it. And I did it to the end. So when I came here and people were having issues, I went to some of my friends in the Senate who were having issues with the party and the president and all that. And I told them, don't leave the APC. I will not leave. It doesn't matter what happens. We promised Nigerians change. We know that change does not come easily, and we should be prepared to fight for that change within the APC. So if we leave the APC and go somewhere else, and we get there and things don't work out, what do? We go to somewhere else. People will know we're not serious. So we have come here, we promised Nigerians change. Let us stay here, let Nigerians see that we are actually fighting for change. And we're very fortunate in the APC. We have a president who actually believes in doing the right thing. It is people like us standing up for the right thing that are supporting the president. Because it is when we achieve the ability of the party to do things right that the glory of what President Buhari is trying to do for Nigerians will show. But if we stay here and then we do things the way we have always done them and then pretend that people don't know that we're doing the same thing, we are not supporting the change mantra which we promised Nigerians and which the president promised the Nigerian people.
All right, Senator
so even within
Abe,
the APC, there is need for those who believe in the right thing to fight for change.
All right, Senator Abe, quickly, even though you say that God has actually given you a mandate to actually run, But let's say last Friday, a flag was actually presented to Toye Cole in the flag of the Buhari campaign in Uyo, and also you were made a campaign council member of that particular of Toye Cole. And you look at it, what do you have to say to that? Because it seems that you're not being recognized nationally.
Well, to me, he has always been recognized nationally. It was the same national that sent his name to INEC. So there's nothing new in what happened. But what I'm saying is that before that happened, the national itself had a lawyer in the court when the court said that this thing will not stand. And they are going ahead to do what they're doing. It's not an issue. But the president has said clearly that at the end of the day, whatever the court decides, that is what will stand, and that is what will hold in the party. So that's where we are. If you noticed when that whole thing was going on, Mr. President sat in his seat until they finished before he came to the stage. So he has taken the position that the courts should be respected and should be allowed to, do their job, which is to adjudicate. So if there was anything wrong, let the courts decide the issue. And that's what we are saying. I'm not against Toye Cole. Toye Cole is my friend. He's my brother. But like I said from the beginning, he's not a member of the party. At least he wasn't at the time this whole thing came on. He doesn't understand the issues, so he cannot be an instrument for its resolution. But if at the end of the day, the Supreme Court turns around, which I don't see how that will happen, to say that what they had said, that the High Court should have been obeyed, they didn't mean that, and they now mean that the High Court should not have been obeyed, because that's the only way Toye Cole can be a candidate of the APC. If they turn around to say that, I'm a loyal member of the party, and I'm a patriotic citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will abide by what the law says. But as a lawyer, seeing the danger that is facing the party, which is clear from the High Court now, because how do you change it? At the time these things were done, the court order was in existence. Even if you change everything, can you go back to change the order that was flouted, which is the origin of the present confrontation between that faction of the party and the judiciary? Can handing a flag alter that reality? I don't think that.
Thank you, Senator Abe, for your time. Thank you very much indeed.